The kettlebell snatch is probably one of my favorite movements in the hard style kettlebell space, because even though it is an overhead movement, so you do have to have good shoulder stability, it's also very much about the leg drive. So it becomes a full body movement, and depending on how you're programming it within your workout, it can be a big cardio drive. However, given the complexity of the movement itself, it can be somewhat intimidating for somebody who is new to the fitness space, new to kettlebells, or new to the kettlebell snatch, because it is very different mechanically from a dumbbell snatch. So if I'm teaching somebody a kettlebell snatch for the first time, I'm gonna break it into 4 distinct components. So the up portion is gonna be broken into 3 pieces, which we're gonna refer to as T-Rex, Tiger, and then Punch. And then the lowering down portion is gonna be a separate piece that we teach them after they've conquered the coming up in the snatch, okay? So for a full snatch, in order to be successful, we wanna make sure we're keeping that elbow in nice and tight, and essentially this is the path of the bell as it comes overhead, right? We then combine that with that nice strong hike, straight up, back through that as we come back down. We wanna make sure we're hitting that nice hinge, so the bell should be tracking above your knees, because if the bell tracks lower, we're losing energy into the ground versus utilizing the energy from the glutes to send the bell overhead, okay? So for those 3 pieces of up, we have T-Rex, where you're gonna find that nice hike, 2 steps back from the bell, pack your shoulder, and it's essentially a short arm swing, okay? So from the side, which is probably a better view, you can see that my upper arm stays glued to the side of my body. Eyes are straight ahead, so I'm finding still that nice tall plank. And then all I'm gonna do is ask them to squeeze their glutes a little bit more, and this is Tiger. So the bell starts to come into that bottoms up position, which is going to allow the bell, when we hit our punch, to have that nice flip through, okay? So if we do this in slow motion with a really light bell, we're doing T-Rex, the bell is here. We're doing Tiger, the bell is here. And then as you hit overhead, you punch through, and that bell should more softly land on the back of the wrist. If somebody's getting that big flop on the back of the wrist, it's usually 2 main issues. One, they're either casting the bell out too far, meaning as they go through T-Rex and Tiger, they're straightening their elbow. You want as close to a 90-degree elbow bend as you can get through that portion of your snatch. Or they're death gripping the bell so that as they come to the top, the bell is still in a bottoms up position, and then as they get overhead, it loosens and it falls onto the back of the wrist, okay? So, all together, we do 2 Tiger, or 2 T-Rex, 2 Tiger, squeezing the glutes, so it's just my glute energy to stay that bell higher, and then as I feel comfortable, squeeze, punch through. For the lower, right, rack down, take it under, have them repeat that same sequence. As they get more comfortable, they might do less reps at each, okay? Once they've mastered the up, then you're gonna talk about the down.